Welcome to the NFL Saturday Podcast. This is Amp.
And I'm Scotty.
And we're here to catch you up on fantasy football for the week, and we'll have some fun along the way. Ooh, I think we nailed that one. That was pretty close. I think we did it. I see. I waited that time. I learned.
And I didn't get caught off guard by like the quote unquote interruption. I was all right. We got it.
Awesome.
I can't wait to hear that.
Before we get into the episode, though, are you ready for your fun fact of the day?
Always ready for a fun fact.
All right. So since Brandon Cooks wasn't traded because of the dead cap hit, the largest dead cap hit in NFL history is from Matt Ryan, and it was this year. The Falcons had a dead cap of $40 million.
40? I was going to guess 27.
Yeah, I think it is over 2 years, though, but I think it still counts. I honestly am not positive how it works. I tried to look it up, but I looked at multiple sites and they told me different things. So I was just like, you know what? Whatever. I'll just pretend I know what it's saying.
So Matt Ryan counts as $40 million cap hit to the Falcons, even though he's no longer on the team. That's what you're saying.
Yes. And I think it's this year and next year. I think he counts against the Falcons. And he's still getting his cap hit is $18 million this year and then $35 million next year for the Colts. But I don't think it's guaranteed, all of it. So, I don't know. We'll see if they cut him. I have no clue what's going to happen.
If he's not guaranteed, he's cut because
probably.
He's going to retire. He lost his job.
No way.
They said even if he was healthy, that Ellinger was the starter. So
yeah.
That's all you need to know. $40 million.
And the Colts did send a third-round pick to Atlanta. So, third-round pick for $40 million, I guess.
Not worth it.
Not worth it. Yeah, not worth it. I guess we can talk about this week now, and we're going to talk about trades. But first, we got to catch them up on our betting challenge, though. First, I got to catch them up. And I am getting skunked. I wrote down in the document that I was down 40K, but I am now down 60K. So,
is that because I won 20,000 today?
It is because of that. Yes. Unfortunately, yes. I need you to bet on some I don't know, some very risky bets or something. Go all in.
I did. I bet that the Phillies will come back and win the World Series.
Oh, you did bet that. Okay, interesting. That is a very risky bet.
They got to win 2 road games, so that's it pays 4-1, but I figure that's.
You just got to hope there's no trash cans being banged on. And then it'll be fine.
Anytime Houston wins a World Series, I think from now until forever, there's going to be an asterisk next to it because people just assume that they're somehow still cheating.
It's also going to be a meme. It's like if Kyler Murray wins a Super Bowl, there's going to be Call of Duty memes no matter what. There's
100%. If he wins the Super Bowl, he better get a skin in the game. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Or a gun wrap or a camo or something.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Ooh, they could make the Arizona Stadium a map in the game.
What if he was like a cameo in the campaign? That would be interesting. He could play himself in the campaign, or like also shoot himself in the campaign. Yeah.
He's like, I'm in Madden, I'm in Call of Duty. Like, what else? I'm retired. I'm done.
Yeah. And then now he has to go to baseball and then be in MLB. That's the next step.
God.
Awesome. Well, I guess it's time for your
Mr. Unlimited
moment of the week.
All right. What's your
Mr. Unlimited?
My moment of the week for Russell Wilson is that he, in a I don't even know what to call it, but a social media post on the Liverpool Twitter talked about how he got married in Liverpool and that he was always a big fan, and he has a Liverpool jersey and even has the cleats, which proceeded to have Liverpool immediately lose to Leeds United, who is one of the worst teams.
Correct. They were on a winning streak at that time, but they're still a bottom of the table team.
Yeah, they are 3-6 after beating Liverpool. So I guess they might have been. Oh no, they might have been 2-5, but they were 2-6, or they would be 2-6 if they hadn't beat Liverpool. So and Liverpool is even. So
they won a game. Leeds actually won a game today where, with like 30 minutes left, they were losing 3-1.
Oh, wow.
And they actually ended up winning the game.
That's pretty crazy.
But that was versus a team worse than they are. So
I guess they're 4-6 now. So it doesn't hold the same weight, but it was pretty funny that he talked about being a Liverpool fan and had a custom jersey and immediately lost.
I love it. No, I love it. That's hilarious.
Anyways, I guess the next thing I wanted to talk about was a little story time. So I'll play the bedtime music because gotta have some type of music. But this was while I was at work on it was Thursday, I think. I think it was Thursday, maybe Wednesday. But I got a notification on my phone that Rashad Bateman was put on the IR and was going to get surgery and miss the rest of the year. And immediately, this was like a shot. It shot me in the leg, where immediately it hurt, but it wasn't like a terrible injury. I have Rashad Bateman in my other fantasy line league, but I have a bunch of other wide receivers, so it's not the biggest news. I can get through it, but it still hurt. And then immediately 5 minutes later, Michael Thomas was also added to the IR and out for the season. And I could feel my knees go weak, and I stumbled to the ground in the middle of a meeting as I have Michael Thomas in our league, and I desperately need him to come back, and I no longer have him because he's out for the year too. So those back-to-back injuries in 5 minutes of each other, I don't know, they were like holding it out for me. I swear they like intentionally released the news at the same time, because they both stung very much.
Yeah, I can imagine. You never want to hear that two players from the same position go down. I mean, that's especially this late in the season. I think the waiver wire is slim pickings.
Trades in our league, it definitely is.
There's not much to do at that point besides just drop points at the wide receiver position.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. I'm now not starting a second quarterback unless Baker Mayfield somehow plays. So while I was rooting for PJ Walker last week, I will now be hoping he gets out of the game for some reason. I don't know. Not injured, but
I got you. Well, it's interesting because my bold prediction of the week was actually going to be that Carolina defense and Walker combined propel Carolina to a victory over the Cincinnati Pussycats.
Interesting nickname. Troy's gonna love that one when he hears it.
That was for you, Troy.
But yeah, I think that's a possibility. I don't think it will happen, but I think it's a possibility. I think I'm betting I am betting the line for Carolina or something like that. So
I initially
that's one of the bets I'm gonna bet in our league, essentially. So
I had the plus 7.5, but then
not in our league. Sorry, our challenge.
Our
challenge. League, yeah, in the challenge is one. I'm gonna probably bet on that. I'm probably gonna do a parlay because I need to catch up. So.
Well, after you lose all of your bets for Worlds tonight, you can just do all 20K on just something crazy, win like $1 million.
Yeah, try to win the $1 million right off the bat.
Yeah, just do it. Oh,
it would be pretty funny.
I know we already stopped talking about the challenge, but I forgot to tell you this.
What?
I had a 7-bet parlay. Just I put it together like if I was gonna bet all of the games, which ones would I pick?
Yeah,
and it would have paid like 16x.
Oh gosh!
I didn't bet it.
But you didn't bet it?
Yeah,
oh my gosh!
Won, yeah.
That would have been crazy. I would have been. Oh man, I would have been so mad.
I would have won all 7. Yeah,
you would have got freaking 80K. Oh my gosh, I would have been so mad.
Nah, you wouldn't have been mad. You just would have had to eat some hot wings.
Oh yeah. Hey, I'm pretty hungry, so maybe I do want some hot wings right now anyway.
They're half off on Thursdays.
Anyway, I guess we can start into the main topic, which is trades. And was this the craziest like trade deadline that we've had in a while? Like, I just felt like it was popping off. Like,
there was, and it felt like, I know typically for like dramatic purposes, and they want players to actually play in week 8, so they wait until that Monday and Tuesday to start making the trades so that the players can play both weeks.
Yeah.
But it felt like more than usual. A lot of trades came in on like Monday night, Tuesday, right at the deadline.
Yeah, because I was actually in a meeting when it happened. And I was like
on my way to work
looking on my phone,
notifications.
I was like trying to sneak my phone and look at the like who got traded.
Oh no, you had to just like sneaking a peek. No, I was stuck in traffic and I kept getting notifications. So I just like swiped it down and it was another trade notification. A lot of defensive players, not as many offensive players as we suspected, but there was a decent amount.
Yeah, I mean
there was a couple blockbusters that I'm surprised about.
Yeah, I guess the big one that I was thinking is the big blockbuster was probably TJ Hawkinson, right?
That's especially because
that's where your thing says too. Yeah,
that would have been what I would call a blockbuster. Yeah,
I mean, I wasn't expecting it. Apparently there were rumors after it happened, but I didn't hear anything. So I was shocked that it was to the Vikings too. Like division rival, your best player essentially. I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown maybe is your best player, but TJ Hawkinson was a top 10 pick, and you're trading him away for a third or a second. I don't even remember what it was, but
I have it right here: a 2023 second and a 2024 third.
I mean, that's pretty crazy, but I don't know. I'm kind of shocked about this one. I think the Vikings needed a tight end. I don't think this really changes Hawkinson's value that much, just because it's kind of like the opposite. Like he was getting a lot of volume in Detroit, and in Minnesota he'll probably get like less volume but better quality stuff. So I don't know. I don't think it changes too much.
But he posted on Twitter and he said, "Looking forward to winning some games." And then he put like a cliff note. Haven't ever been able to say that before.
That's really funny.
And then there was another meme that said, TJ Hawkinson went to bed 1-6 and woke up 6-1.
Yeah, I saw that one too. True. That one's pretty funny.
What are they thinking trading? I mean, let's just say top 3, if we can't say that he's the best. Top 3 value to their team in the division. If you're gonna
into the division, it's crazy. That's insane.
You're gonna send the Vikings on a Super Bowl run with one of your best players out of your own division. Why?
I just think Detroit's management is so bad that I think that's their main issue. Is their management is terrible. Like I really think some of their coaches have been pretty good, and they just like their management is just terrible. I feel like they always mismanage people and their talent, and they end up either leaving or like having the disputes with like Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders. Like they've just been so horrible, like ownership down of like just caring for the players, you know?
I don't know. Imagine the career Calvin Johnson would have had on literally any other team. It seemed like he was on the only team that like somehow like lessened him.
I mean, like, you saw Matthew Stafford. He won a Super Bowl the first year.
I was so happy about that, by the way, because everyone in Detroit was like, oh, get a new QB. He's not good enough. And he was like, yeah, I am. I'm just on a bad team. And he immediately went to a new team and proved that he was capable of winning a Super Bowl.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right. I think you're right. The people who make those big decisions in Detroit are affecting everything all the way down to the players. There's no way to argue that.
Yeah, exactly. And I have memory because my parents are from the Detroit area, and so we would go visit my grandparents in that area, and on like Thanksgiving and stuff like that. And they would be like watching the Lions game, and I just remember them always sucking. It's just, it's, I don't know, it's pretty brutal. I can't imagine, like, especially this year. I actually was kind of excited just because of Hard Knocks. I liked the players and stuff, and it just sucks to like see them, I don't know, just do this again and just kind of throw away talent. And I guess we can kind of move on to this was a weird trade because the Bears have been like trading away all their defense, but then they traded for Chase Claypool, which
I know. You know why though?
Because he's good, I guess.
Well,
right?
Because the last couple weeks, Justin Fields has actually shown complete contrast to the beginning of the season that he's capable of actually putting together a streak of completed passes, putting up yards.
Yeah.
I guess they're tired of throwing the ball to Cole Kemet and Equanimeous St. Brown. They wanted to bring in somebody else.
Yeah.
I don't mind it. I thought he was going to go to Green Bay. Chicago's not a terrible. He'll be able to shine. I guess he'll stand out more.
Yeah, I don't mind. I think this is all right. I mean, as a Chase Claypool owner in our league, I don't really mind. I'm definitely like, I don't know. I'm a little torn just because. I mean, I needed a wide receiver this week, but I guess he was going to be on bye anyway, so this is definitely good for me. It's just, I don't know. It's interesting. I'm curious to see how he does. The volume has been picking up recently, so yeah, I'm definitely excited about that long term too. What were you gonna say?
Do you think his stock went up or down? If he was on Pittsburgh with a healthy relationship, and there wasn't like a beef, would you rather have him on Pittsburgh with a clean slate or Chicago?
I think immediately I'd rather have him on Chicago or on Pittsburgh, but long term I'd rather have him on the Bears because Pittsburgh is like known to just like throw their receivers like aside when they're done with them. Like after, I don't know, it just always happens. So yeah, I wouldn't
look how quickly they dumped Antonio after he got head injuries.
I know they went insane, but I feel like they kind of do that. So I'm kind of long term. I definitely do feel. I mean, you've seen it. Like they draft wide receivers every single year. Like every year they draft like a really good receiver in the first or second round, and I mean they hit. They're really good at distinguishing the talent, so they don't really need to sign them to like long term deals. So I think long term, if you can develop the chemistry with Justin Fields, then I'm kind of excited for that, you know?
As long as he comes in with a cool head, I would just be a little worried that, let's say, because he has all those frustrations about volume in Pittsburgh and how they treated him. Let's say the first couple weeks while they're still like learning the chemistry and figuring each other out, he doesn't get a lot of opportunities and immediately gets frustrated again. Oh, yeah. I came here for this. I gave up Pittsburgh. I had to move. Blah, 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 blah. I just hope he can keep an open mind and let it develop. And I think if he does, then he'll be a good player there. I think he's a good fit for the team.
I totally agree with that. Yeah.
All right. Let's go Chase Claypool.
I guess we can go to another interesting trade, which...
You know what my favorite one was?
Yeah, tell me.
All right. To me, it's stupid because of the circumstances surrounding it. But Jacksonville trading
I know.
Ridley.
It's so ironic.
His suspension, which I just learned, I thought it was a 1-year suspension. It's indefinite. There is no end date. There is no end date on his suspension. It's like Josh Gordon. He has to go through like some sort of process to be reintroduced into the league.
Well, do you know the funniest part too? Is that Calvin Ridley bet against the Jaguars. It was the Falcons playing the Jaguars.
I didn't know that. That's hilarious.
Yeah. So that also is a hilarious thing to add. But who knows?
You know the next funny part?
Oh, I want to hear it.
Jacksonville traded away a 5th-round pick in 2023 that the Falcons only get if Ridley is reinstated and plays.
So they could just not get any pick. That would be so
They
crazy.
have a 2024 fourth round pick that says he gets reinstated and actually makes the 53-man squad, not the practice squad. And then if they sign him to an extension, they would also get a second round pick.
Got you.
So if Calvin Ridley never gets reinstated into the league,
oh my gosh.
Granted, they wouldn't have given up anything because he never played again, but they didn't get anything either. It would just be like a trade of nothing, air for air. Nothing.
So what if he doesn't get reinstated until after the picks, like the year the picks happen? What happens then?
That's a good point. Because the 2023 fifth round pick says he has to be reinstated. So what if it's like after the draft?
So if it happens after the draft, they just get a draft. The player just randomly has to like pick up and go to the other.
If Jacksonville gets to keep that pick and then like
that'd be so funny if they just get him for free. Yeah.
Yeah. They get to keep the pick that they gave him for him. I'd be so interested. I'm going to Google that because there has to be literature on that. That's a good question.
I will say though that this is very exciting for Dynasty because the Jaguars actually have a quarterback. The issue is Trevor Lawrence has looked terrible, but I mean, I don't know. Well, I think he'll be fine in the long run. I think it's just the stench of Jacksonville is like having him off to a slow start, but who knows? I have no clue what's going to happen.
Did you know that Trevor Lawrence has the worst record of any quarterback drafted in the first round in the Super Bowl era through 25 games?
That's crazy because I thought Peyton Manning
it's either
was
20 games or 25.
That's so funny.
Let me type it in real quick.
Yeah, because I thought Peyton Manning had a worse first season, but I guess they did only have one win or something.
He's something like 5-20.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
In like his first 25 games, I'm not going to look it up, but it's like 5-20, which makes it the worst starting record for a first round quarterback in the Super Bowl era.
That makes sense. I mean, they've been so bad.
Every year their first couple, like the first 2 weeks this year, I was like, dang, this is a different Jacksonville Jaguars team with Christian Kirk and Trevor Lawrence and Etienne and Robinson. But then the first couple of weeks and the momentum dies and they look like the same old Jaguars team once again.
I hope they pick it up this week though, because I think they're playing. Is it Las Vegas? I think they're playing Las Vegas.
I think they're at home versus the Raiders and they're like a 3-point underdog.
Yeah, I hope they pick it up this week because I need it for some fantasy stuff. So,
well, if the Raiders look anything like they did last week, you'll be very happy.
It's going to be a very low scoring game, but we'll see.
Interesting. Awesome. Yeah, we're probably looking at a boring game, to be honest.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
Well, I guess we might talk about that later. But I guess the next trade was Nyheim Hines to the Bills, which to me came out of nowhere. I don't think this really has any relevance for fantasy, but what do you think?
I think it does. First of all, I have no idea why they would trade him. He's been so good for them, especially with Jonathan Taylor was just ruled out, and you're going to trade the backup who's actually been doing stuff for you.
I have no clue. Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking.
And as a Devin Singletary owner, I'm now worried that Hines comes in. Zach Moss was taking a lot of they were trading drives. Every drive, it was one or the other. They never did first and second down, then the other one does third down. It was just full on drive switches.
Yeah,
that's not going to change. Nyheim Hines is a good ball carrier. He's going to go there and still steal carries from Singletary. So that sucks.
Really, I think this hurts everyone besides maybe Nyheim Hines, but I don't even know if it's great for him.
He'll be happy to be on Buffalo.
Yeah, he's happy that he's on a winning team now. And I guess the other side of this, Zach Moss to the Colts is he's probably pretty mad because I know Zach Moss owners are very upset probably. Because he has been pretty bad.
Fantasy-wise, I don't think anything would change for either of them. They'll still both Zach Moss still won't do that much, and Hines will still
similar
be
role
like
probably.
a committee guy that puts up decent numbers. But
Yeah.
from like a football perspective, that like Moss is pissed and Hines is probably over the moon.
Oh yeah, he was like dancing with them in the locker room, I think.
Of course.
Already, which I mean, I'm not surprised.
Even if you don't play, you're immediately a Super Bowl contender, which was literally never going to happen with the Colts. Like, sorry,
Yeah.
Colts fans, it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, he just has to come up with a handshake now with Josh Allen because that's the next step.
By the way, how the hell do you remember that? How does he go to each individual guy and have a unique handshake that he can remember? That's wild.
I think Cam Newton also did something similar though, like when he was in his
my memory is
prime on the Panthers. Yeah, I couldn't do that either, but I mean, they're all crazy smart in some ways. I mean, they have to memorize all the plays really quick and all the film study too. So I'm not surprised.
Absolutely. True. It you're not. They're intelligent. Usually on and off the field. Remember, like Ryan Fitzpatrick went to Harvard.
Yeah.
They're not just smart on the field; they're smart everywhere.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, especially like, even like Peyton Manning, you'd think like, I don't know, he kind of, you wouldn't necessarily think he'd be like super smart just because, I don't know, the commercials he does are kind of goofy and stuff like that. But then as soon as he starts breaking down football, like he's a genius. Like you can tell he's a genius. Like
there's quite a few people like that.
I mean, even Lamar Jackson, like he's like very, very smart too. Like it's like one of those things where you're surprised until they like talk about something they're passionate about, and then they're like, oh yeah, they're a genius. That's why they're in the NFL.
Yeah. And I guess anybody could like stumble over their words or sound weird when they're put on the spot in an interview. But if you give them time to, put together a thoughtful response, then you can actually tell. So you're probably right. A lot of people make fun of him because he had like a under 2.0 GPA and only got to go to college because he was so good at football. But
really? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, but that was a long time ago. People can learn and change over the years. So I mean, obviously he has a high football IQ.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's so you can't just be like legally stupid and still have a high football IQ, and you got to be smart. So
yeah, I think a lot of it too is like book smarts versus real smarts too. Like a lot of it doesn't.
It's like common sense versus like what you learn from reading a book. Yeah, those two things are very different.
Oh yeah, definitely. Awesome.
I got one for you.
Oh yeah, what's your?
How did you feel about Miami trading for Jeff Wilson?
My name is
and
JF.
San Francisco got. My name is Jeff, and San Francisco got nothing in return. A 5th round pick. Basically.
I mean, I think this is probably good for Jeff Wilson because Mike McDaniels has always liked him, but I don't think it's good for Raheem Mostert. I mean, so far he hasn't been great, Raheem Mostert, and his main thing has been volume. So if Jeff Wilson comes in and is like great right off the bat, then he could actually take some carries. And I mean, it's probably going to be a committee, so I'm not really trying to play him, but if you do have a bad team like I do in certain leagues, you could consider starting him.
And you're also very happy if you're a Christian McCaffrey owner. There weren't any questions about like a committee or losing work on 3rd down or goal line or anything like that. But now there isn't a question. You traded away Jeff Wilson. That's saying he's our guy. Every down back. If he has a 80-yard run and needs to get a breather, we'll have somebody to put in, but he's the guy.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I'm excited as a McCaffrey owner.
I mean, yeah, McCaffrey is... I feel like last week was exactly what I would expect. Like, they just scheme him to do whatever. Like,
I was so happy.
When he threw, caught, and ran, I was like, okay, that's something the Niners would do. Like, literally just try to get him involved whatever way they can.
Every play. I think they said that like LaDainian Tomlinson was the last person to do it. Like 10 or 15 years ago.
Or something. I think he's the only person or something like that. But I don't know.
Like that was the only other time it was done. That's interesting.
I think that's what I heard. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like it would be pretty rare to do all three in a game. So I believe it.
I believe that was all of the offensive players that were traded.
You are missing one. You did miss one. And that is actually right before the Dolphins traded away Chase Edmonds to the Broncos. And I don't think this matters at all because Chase Edmonds has been pretty bad all season and lost the role to Raheem Mostert. But what do you think?
The Broncos still have Melvin Gordon, Mike Boone,
and Latavius Murray. Yeah.
So what the heck are they doing?
I don't know. I don't really know. Oh, this was
that
part
trade
of the
is so irrelevant.
Chubb
it didn't even pop up on my list.
It was the Chubb trade. That's why.
Oh, it is here. It is here.
Yeah. It was Nick Chubb. So Chase Edmonds really didn't matter for like the Broncos. They didn't really want him. They were trading away Chubb, but that's why he just was a byproduct, I guess, of the trade. So
it was like, hey, let's just throw him in there. What the heck?
Yeah, exactly. Because they need a running back, possibly. Might as well see how he does, but I don't think it will matter. But yeah, that was all the trades. Now, I guess. There were two players that were not traded that I was surprised about. You're probably thinking the same people I am, and that would be Brandon Cooks and Kareem Hunt. What do you think about them? Because
Kareem Hunt, I actually wasn't surprised. If you follow him,
you weren't okay.
If you follow him on social media or listen to his interviews, people ask him every single week, where do you want to go? What team would you rather be on? And he actually came out and said, and his teammates and agents, backed him up and said that it's true, that he just shows up, works as hard as he possibly can, supports his teammates, then they help each other, and all he cares about is winning games. He doesn't want to be distracted by any of those things. If it happens, it happens. He said that he doesn't talk to his agent about like where he'd want to go or anything like that. He just plays football, and if it happens, it happens. So I think he actually doesn't care.
I mean, that makes sense. I'm not surprised. I didn't know that, but I think that does make sense.
He said he's just happy to play with Nick Chubb. He said Nick Chubb was one of the best running backs he's ever played alongside.
Oh yeah, he's so good.
Happy to share the field with him. Yeah.
Not surprised. And then I guess Brandon Cooks was probably the funniest.
Brandon Cooks, I was surprised.
I was surprised he didn't get traded, and I kind of mentioned it earlier, but apparently the Cowboys were playing hardball with the Texans because they didn't want to pay some of his dead cap hit, and the Texans were also playing hardball and decided not to trade him, and now he's not playing anyway. So what do you think? Do you think he's going to end up playing soon? Just they'll get over it over his cryptic tweets?
I love the tweets where he implies that he knows like their dirty little secrets, and he's going to start exposing them for not trading him. Like he's going to snitch on them for what protocols they're not following, rules they're breaking. I guess he's implying that they've done things that are finable. Is that what he's saying? Like they could have punishments for things that they're doing?
My guess is it would be concussions. That would be my guess. That they're not following concussion protocol or something. That would be my guess. But
and
hard
that
to
would
know.
be, and that if he had proof somehow, which I wouldn't think he does, he just probably has rumors.
Yeah,
it's like his word against theirs. But if he could somehow prove it, that's a pretty big fine. Coaches get suspended, doctors get fired. So that would be an interesting. I am not surprised by the Texans making such a stupid decision. Now they lose. Now they lose the money and they lose the player, and got nothing for it.
Yeah,
if he doesn't play, it doesn't seem like he cares. But they lose the money, they lose the player. What were they thinking? Trade him for something. Get a 3rd round pick, 4th round pick, something.
It is going to suck for our fantasy teams though, because you have Brandon Cooks too, right?
I am a Brandon Cooks owner. He's very inconsistent when he's playing anyway.
Yeah, he is.
He's been wildly inconsistent. He's averaging like less than 4 catches a game. I don't think he's got over 50 yards more than once. Nothing fantastic. He's not like a superstar that I'm upset about losing, but
yeah, It sucks.
It does suck having one less option.
Yeah, I can't.
Well, yeah,
pick him up
it always
everyone.
sucks losing a player in best ball because you know you don't have to make a starting lineup. You just every week if they do well, you benefit from it.
Yeah, exactly.
My best ball sucks.
Yeah, mine's not going so well anymore in the one that we did. But I guess it's time for Ask Anissa, where I ask my wife Anissa a fantasy football question, and she knows nothing about football. So, Anissa,
Yeah.
who should I start as my wide receiver 3? Romeo Doubs, Kadarius Toney, or Devin Duvernay?
What'd you say, Kadarius?
Kadarius Toney, or Romeo Doubs, or Devin Duvernay?
Kadarius.
Kadarius? All right, we're going with Kadarius. Now let's play What's Your Prop? Where we pick 3 prop bets for the other person who will pick a side. We will keep track of our records and then be punished publicly on the show at the end of the year.
Ooh, how we doing so far?
Last week you went 2-1, Scotty, and I went 1-2.
Yes.
So
Ooh, gotcha.
you're now 4-5, and I'm 3-6.
Ooh, we both suck. That's all I heard.
But I suck more, just like the betting challenge. So
Oh, come on. Don't be a Debbie Downer.
I want to be a sore loser as much as possible, so you feel guilty and start making stupid bets. That's my goal.
That's it.
That's the strategy. That's the strategy for me.
It's working.
So I have probably the most annoying prop bets this week. So do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
If yours are annoying, I'll go first, so you go last.
Okay, you can go first then.
All right, my first one is will Joe Burrow versus the pretty above average Carolina defense. Will Joe Burrow throw an interception?
Will
Yes
Joe
or no?
Burrow throw a pick?
Yes.
I
Over
am
under
gonna
0.5
say-
interceptions.
I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say yes on this one.
Sorry,
He's gonna
Troy.
throw a pick. Sorry, Troy. I'm gonna say yes.
All right.
I think they still win, but I think he's gonna throw a pick.
I thought so.
It
too.
might not be his
I
fault
would've-
though either. It could be Mike Williams' fault. I think that's the 3rd string receiver, so could be his fault. You know,
It could be. You never know.
could be
He
Hayden
could just-
Hurst's fault. You never know.
Ooh, Hayden Hurst, ex-Raven.
Yeah.
All right, what you got
All right.
for me?
My first one is Chase Claypool over under 30 yards.
Is he going to play? I mean, he'll probably...
That's the risk.
Damn. That's not
I mean,
fair.
if he doesn't play, then you win right away. But
I mean, to be fair, I gave you a Christian McCaffrey question right after the Niners traded for him that you got wrong. So
I did get wrong.
I have nothing to lose here. Let's go under. Let's go
You're
under.
gonna go under 30 yards for Chase Claypool. All right. I'm hoping for the over because I am actually starting him in fantasy football, sadly. All right. All right. What's your second prop?
Ooh, you're gonna hate this one because you have this player, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Over under 38.5 rushing yards. Primetime game versus the Titans at home. Over under 38.5 yards.
I'm gonna have to go under on this because I have no faith. I have no faith.
All right, under. Interesting.
I'm starting him in my dynasty league, and I'm hoping for a touchdown for 10 points. That's
Touchdown
maybe 10
dependent.
points. 10 points and 2 catches for 10 points. That's what I'm hoping for.
Okay, with no yards.
Oh yeah,
just-
it's rushing yards, or is it total?
No, rushing yards.
Okay. All right.
You're
cool.
going under?
No,
I should've
I'm
gone
still
lower.
going under.
Dang it.
Yeah, rushing yards.
I should have gone
All
like 25.
Well, that's actually my next prop bet is 25 yards for TJ Hawkinson as a Viking.
Why
TJ
are you asking me these new players? How many? 25?
25.
You know what? because it was a divisional trade, and I think Vikings are going to want to prove to them how stupid they were. They're going to want to get them involved early. I'm going to go over, and I'm going to go comfortably over. Not that I get any bonus points, but I would go. You could ask me 35, and I'd still go over.
I actually almost did do 35, but I lowered that one as well. So
I think that they're going to want to send a message. Give me the over.
Over. All right. Over T.J. Hawkinson, under Chase Claypool. What is your third prop bet?
I also went with a wide receiver for the third one. Justin Jefferson.
Ooh.
Staying in Minnesota.
Oh.
5.5 receptions. Over under.
Oh. Okay. 5.5.
Remember, you went under on Tyreek Hill 7.5 last week, and he got like 10. So just keep that in mind.
I think I'm gonna have to go over on this one. I think I got to go over. I mean, he's just a beast in prime time. There's gonna be they're gonna need him. I feel like got to go over.
All right.
So we're both over for the Vikings. So we'll see how that goes.
The Commanders do pretty well against wide receiver ones recently. I'm just saying.
The Commanders.
Don't the Vikings?
Oh yes, they play the Commanders. Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Who's right? Am I right?
I was looking at the wrong week. So that is my fault.
So which one is it?
You are correct. It is the Commanders.
They're playing in Washington as well. It's a road game.
Yeah. I'm still going to go the over, though.
Okay. You got over Justin Jefferson, under on Allaire, and you got Burrow throwing a pick. We'll see how that pans out, brother.
Yeah. And I guess for the last one, I'm going to go.
Ooh, I could guess
Kadarius Toney over under 30 yards. This is payback for Christian McCaffrey.
All three, though. You're a savage. All right, so he's a Chief now. Prime time.
Yeah, they had a bye week. They didn't have a bye week.
They got Kelsey. They got Juju, Marquez.
They do. They do have all those players.
Give me the under.
Taking the under. Under for Claypool at 30 yards. Under for Kadarius Toney at 30. And over of T.J. Hawkinson at 25. I like it.
What can I say? I like tight ends better than wide receivers.
We'll see how that goes.
I just think the Vikings are going to want to send a message because they traded within the division. That's the only reason I'm going over there.
No, I could totally see that.
But I have no faith. Like Claypool might not catch a pass. You could have just told me like 1.5 receptions, and I would have still struggled to pick an answer.
Yeah, no, I see that. I think Kadarius Toney is the riskier one for you. For me, I don't know. I'm a little more confident because I think they will give him some more work. Just because they have had the bye week, they're going to try to figure him out. But it is. I didn't say this, but I did mean reception yards. So, the rushing yards won't count. What?
For which player?
Kadarius Toney, because I could totally see them rushing with him.
Like a Cordero Patterson situation, just lining him up in the backfield.
Yeah, and that's good for you because then if I meant receiving yards, not rushing yards.
Receiving yards is fine. No, okay, you can switch it.
I just wanted to. I mean, hey, if you're down for total yards, I'm down to keep it like as is. But
I think it's just implied that you asked me a wide receiver question that we're just talking about reception yards. That would be like shitty of me to come back next week and be like, no, I won that because you didn't clarify reception. Like, I'm not petty. Come on.
Well, to be fair, I think you did pick the under on 2, so it would be likely that it would benefit you either way. But
right, I would likely lose if you included the because I went under, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you went under on Toney and Cleveland, and I don't think Hawkins is going to rush. So
yeah, that would be like if he got 29 reception yards and like 10 rushing yards, and you were like, well, no, I never clarified, just reception yards, so technically you get that wrong. Like, I know you wouldn't do that either, so yeah, we're good.
That's true. All right, cool.
I know you better than that.
You do know me better than that. We've been friends long enough.
What, 10 years now?
Yeah, it's
never met, but like still counts.
Still counts, yeah. I guess we can go into week 6 matchups, though.
Very interested about.
Is there any one you want to talk about? Because it seems like you had a couple that were already on my list, so you can bring those up before I talk about them.
After the Bears traded away Roquan Smith and what's his name? I'm drawing a blank. What's the guy? Robert Quinn.
Yeah, Robert Quinn. Yeah.
So they traded away two of their key defensive guys. Miami already puts up a lot of points anyway, but now they're going against a weaker defense than Chicago has been the past couple weeks.
And on top of that,
Chicago has been flowing and putting up points the past couple weeks, which is new. So I actually am picking Miami and Chicago as the highest scoring game of the week.
I actually 100% agree with this, and I'm playing Tua, Tyreek, and Waddle in multiple lineups because
I agree. I think that's going to be
go crazy.
I think they're going to run out of fireworks. There's so many touchdowns scored in that game.
And also, the one thing I did say, I think I mentioned it earlier that had something to mention about this game was that the Bears have been pretty bad the last couple weeks anyway. Before they lost Roquan Smith, they've been giving up a decent amount of points. So now that he's gone, I think this is going to be insanely high scoring. I don't know how the over.
You think it gets even worse?
Yeah. Is there a rain that we don't know about or something? Like that's the only thing I can think of.
Where the game is in Chicago,
so there could be snow. I guess.
I don't know. Maybe it's just going to be really windy. Which it always is.
But honestly, I kind of like the Bears as an upset this week.
You think the Bears could win at home? I don't think they could score enough points to win, but I think they could score enough points to make it an exciting game.
I think it will be close. I think the money line, I think the Bears can definitely hit. Not the money line, the spread. I think the spread, the Bears can definitely
4.5?
Yeah. I think they could definitely.
I don't necessarily think they get blown out.
Close. No. Yeah. I mean, either way, fantasy-wise, I think this game is the one to target. I totally agree with you. So I'm glad we're on the same page there.
With everything except for Chase Claypool.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm more thinking that they might.
I was just more picking hard people to choose. I don't necessarily think he's going to do well. I'm only starting him out of desperation.
Understood. So. I am really excited about what you said with Tyreek Hill, Waddle, and Tua in the same lineup. I don't think like we talked about last week when we talked about the best wide receiver duos. Miami has shown that multiple people can explode in the same game, and if ever it was going to happen, it would be right after Chicago traded their two best players, and maybe morale is a little low. Yeah, I do like that lineup. I expect big things from Miami.
That said, though,
who knows?
Who, the NFL? Roger Goodell?
No, just us tomorrow after the game.
Just us? Fair.
Tomorrow. Yeah. Ask me tomorrow at 5 o'clock my time. I'll know the answer.
Fair enough. Was there any other ones you wanted to talk about before I go into the other three? Because that was one of the four I had written down.
Ooh, no. I wanted to give my prediction for the lowest scoring game of the week, but we'll talk about that last.
All right, yeah. I think my prediction is that the Lions-Packers will also be, I don't know, I think middle of the pack. I don't think it'll be high scoring as the line is 49.
Yeah,
I don't think it'll be that
49 and a half, 50 points. I don't think so either.
Okay, good. We're on the same page again. Nice. I feel like as this podcast keeps going, we're just going to eventually say the same stuff. Have the same thing.
Just finish each other's sentences, have the same exact thoughts. Because when I was going to make my picks for our 4-pick thing, I was, just scroll through and look at all of them and just see what my options are. And when I saw that the over-under was at 50, I was like, oh, well, that's just like a slam dunk under. How can they ever score that many points?
I agree, yeah. I mean, there's the rumors of Green Bay is going to get it back together. And I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen. I feel like they're just
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, that's what
I'm not holding my breath.
The only player or players that I am excited about are the Green Bay running backs. I think both of them will probably have a good game. But the receivers, I'm not really excited to play. If you have them, I'm not worried to play them, but I'm not excited.
You don't have high hopes for Romeo?
I mean,
you don't think
not
you could
high
have a
hopes.
good game?
Yeah, not really. I mean, their Lions defense has been a lot better recently. Not against the run, but against the pass. And then on top of that, the Lions offense hasn't been great. But I just don't think it's going to be
battling
high scoring,
battling a lot of injuries. They just traded away Hawkinson.
Yeah.
DeAndre Swift is back, but he didn't do much last week, so maybe he's not fully healthy. Same thing for Amon St. Brown. Maybe he's just not fully there yet. So
yeah, I mean, I'm just waiting for Jameson Williams to come back. That's my real, because I have him in best ball, and I'm hoping he comes back. But we'll see. Who knows? Awesome. I
think I'm fully on board. If they only scored like 35 points in that game, I think
35.
That would be. That's kind of like. You think that's low?
I think that's too low. I would say like low 40s, but
all right.
I don't know.
Well, either way, not 50.
Yeah, either way, yeah.
I don't think they're getting 50.
I would be shocked if they got 50, and I probably would choose them as the under if I hadn't already picked my under on Thursday because I got trigger happy. To be fair though, I would have won if they didn't go for 2. If they didn't go for 2, I would have
missed the 2.
If they missed the 2, I would have won. Or if Houston didn't kick a field goal, I would have won. So there's a lot of things that happened that I could have won.
Anyway, or if the Eagles just didn't give up, what it was, 17 points to the Houston Texans.
To Houston, yeah. I'm still. My betting has been pretty bad. Anyway, I guess. Anyways, the Chargers Falcons was also one I wanted to mention. What do you think of this? This is another 50-point over under. Chargers have no receivers.
Yeah, I was gonna say, in order to hit the 50, you imagine, even if both teams score, let's say 3 touchdowns.
Yeah,
that's still only in the 40s, a couple field goals maybe. How are the Chargers scoring that many points with just Eckler?
And Josh Palmer and DeAndre Carter, hopefully, because I'm playing them in my leagues.
So I also agree that that's a slam dunk under because...
Yeah, I agree.
Eckler's not scoring enough points to contribute to that on his own. And Atlanta isn't scoring 40 or 30 on their own, I don't think. I think we're looking at a 21-17 situation, I think.
We do say that, but Eckler actually could score like 6 times, So
6 times, I don't know. 2 or 3 is within his skill set. He's done it before.
The one thing I will say is Kyle Pitts could finally be coming to life. And if he has another good week, I will be so happy because I will celebrate it and I will just pretend that he's going to be like this the rest of the year because he set a touchdown in back-to-back weeks and he had a good week last week. They were playing the Panthers, but still, I'm actually getting some hope, and he better not crush it right as I start to get some hope, because then I will be heartbroken. So, that is the one thing I'm looking at in this game, besides Austin Eckler.
But another reason to slam that under is because if they fully rely on the run game, you have to also imagine how much time is running off the clock if they're doing 10 plus play drives that are all run plays.
Well,
how often is Atlanta getting a chance to get the ball?
I mean, Eckler would probably be catching most of his work anyway, because he'll probably catch 15 passes or something crazy.
I just think the way that they'd have to play the game from the Chargers' perspective would be a lot of Eckler, which I think you would have to assume is a lot of long drives, 10 plus plays, 10-minute drives. which means Atlanta would pretty much have to score every time they get the ball to hit the over. And I don't see that happening. So I think that under is a slam dunk.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. And I guess the last
50
one,
points is too much.
Yeah, no, I don't honestly I don't know a lot of these over unders. I was pretty surprised about, and one of those over unders I was surprised about was also the Cardinals Seahawks, who are at a 49-point over under.
I knew you were gonna use that one.
The Seahawks have been playing a lot better on defense, and I mean the last time they played it was what, like 13-9?
19-9.
19-9?
When Seattle was at home, that was the score, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily think it'll be that low scoring, but I think 50 points is pretty crazy. I feel like this is one of those things where, does Vegas know something we don't, you know? Like,
I think they do. I do also think 50 is a little far-fetched, but I can understand what they're thinking. D-Hop is back.
Yeah, that's true.
It wasn't double XP weekend in Call of Duty, so Kyler Murray's going to be locked in. Kenneth Walker has hit his stride. Geno Smith is building momentum. Lockett is healthy. I mean, I can see where they're coming from, but I still think 50 points is a huge ask. How many 50-point games has Arizona been involved in? Like 2 all year?
I don't even, yeah, I don't
3,
even know.
maybe.
Maybe.
It looks like just 3. So, no, I agree with you. 50 points is a little steep.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what's going to happen?
If they were to score 50 points, where do you think it's coming from? Who do you think's getting the bulk of that?
I mean, DeAndre Hopkins obviously is getting a ton. And then I think Kenneth Walker. But I don't know, maybe Metcalf miraculously is healed all of a sudden, because we literally talked about how he was going to be out for like, I don't know, a couple weeks or something, right? And then he played last week, so who knows?
Yep. We literally talked about how these athletes have like freak healing abilities, and he turns a supposed month of absence into playing, doing well, and I believe he contributed a touchdown last week, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I don't even remember, but I mean, yeah, we'll see. I think the tight ends too. Tight ends could do well for both teams, really. Both teams have bad tight end defenses, so I don't know.
Just for fun, who do you think wins that game?
Who do I think wins?
Arizona with D-Hop back.
That's a hard one. I think
I know you're struggling because you have no faith in Kyler.
Yeah, but I think Arizona. I think Arizona probably wins that. I can't imagine Seattle keeps up this ridiculous magic going.
They did just beat the. Do you think that they beat the Giants because they're just good, or because the Giants' fantasy was just over and we're witnessing the start of what we expected?
I think it's both.
Ooh.
I think the Seahawks are better.
I do think Seattle wins. I think Seattle wins.
Yeah. I mean, I can see that. It would be pretty crazy though if the Cardinals started 3-6. So, we'll see. Who knows? But I do have a very strong opinion for you today. So if you do not have any more matchups, I'm gonna knock your socks off.
All right, let's hear it.
All right. My strong opinion of the day is that Russell Wilson will finish as a top 10 fantasy QB